Hello and welcome. Thank you to everyone who is joining us today for our Legacy Systems versus the Modern ERP webinar, where we will be discussing finding the right fit for your nonprofit. A little housekeeping before we start the webinar. Cameras are accessible to moderators and speakers only. We do have a Q&A function in this webinar where you can submit any questions or comments, and we will be answering them near the end of the session. For anyone with their mic on, we are going to mute ourselves and turn our camera on when not speaking. And we will be sending a recording of this webinar within the week for anyone who would like to review or anyone who missed the webinar. So a quick agenda for today. We are going to do a quick round of introductions. Then we are going to talk about evaluating your tech landscape with one of our special guests, who I will be introducing shortly. Then we'll be jumping over to learn how Microsoft supports nonprofits. Then jumping back to SparkRock to learn all about who SparkRock is and what we do, a demo, our Q&A session, and closing out. So to get started, I want to introduce the SparkRock team. So with me today, I have Gary and Wendy. Let you guys say a little hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Gary and Wendy will be presenting the information on our company as well as our demo. And then what's even more exciting about this webinar is we have a few special guests. So I will let them introduce themselves when we get to their section, but I want to introduce them as well. So from Forvis Mazers, we have Seth Hopkins. And then we also have Henrik from Microsoft. We are very excited to hear all of their thoughts on nonprofits transitioning to ERPs. So now I'll hand it over to Gary to get us started.
All right. Thank you, Brie. Hello, everyone. Very excited to be here. Just to say a few words about myself. So I am a senior account executive at SparkRock. I've been working in the ERP space for over a decade, helping, well, at least initially, both the for-profit and non-for-profit when it comes to find the right solution for finance and HRP. And in the past few years, I actually decided to focus exclusively on the non-for-profit. And this is how I ended up joining SparkRock. I like to start with a quote that say that the impact of technology should be simple. It must allow people to become heroes in the life of those they serve. It's a pretty straightforward statement, right? I believe that most of us here will agree with that. But one common theme that you find with nonprofit, and I'm sure that everybody in this webinar can relate to that, is that they are strapped for resources, right? So nonprofit operates in a very tight budget, and you are not learning anything when I say that. But most of that budget is channeled directly into their mission, and rightfully so. But as a result, the technologies they use is often behind and outdated. They find themselves running on older systems that often are 10, 15 years old, even more sometimes, right? And those are usually your on-premise legacy system. And don't get me wrong, those systems have served their purpose, but when can you identify that the system that served you for so long is no longer serving you? That what appeared to be a cost saving is actually costing you so much more than you can imagine, maybe in terms of time, resources, efficiencies, security. When do you realize that it's time for a digital transformation, right? And I'm just going to start the conversation with the obvious. When we explore the ERP space, a lot of those legacy systems are now reaching end of life, right? No more features, no more improvement, no more updates available, no bug fixings, not even any security patches. And this is not the only concern, right? Stability is another problem. Those are aging systems, often experiencing crashes, downtime, and user issue. And to that mix, you also need to add the fact that there is a significant gap in keeping up with the current technology. Lack of automation is a good example, right? Meaning manual work, inefficiencies. You also have compatibility issues, as your system may struggle to integrate with newer system or solution. And of course, this is a situation that you don't want to be in, right? Especially when we're talking about your financial data. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? Above and beyond all those obvious issues, there are several signs that your nonprofit needs a digital transformation, not just because your legacy system is reaching end of life, but because the well-being of your organization requires it. And to help us navigate through the technology landscape and understand and identify those signs, I'm going to hand it over to Seth from Forvis Mazar.
Thank you, Gary. All right. Let me get my slides going here. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I am Seth Hopkins from the nonprofit advisory practice at Forvis Mazars. I have over 20 years of experience in both nonprofit and for-profit sectors, and I specialize in financial planning, analysis, and strategic financial leadership. I help organizations navigate complex financial landscapes and support organizations' financial objectives and help with system integrations. So today we are going to discuss the importance of evaluating your tech landscape. This involves a thorough assessment of your current technology infrastructure and capabilities. And it's not just about the technology itself, but also about the processes that interact with and support it. So in your context, evaluating your tech landscape might include reviewing your current general ledger software to identify its strengths and weaknesses. You also need to assess auxiliary software such as accounts payable, procurement management, and payroll systems to ensure they're efficient, effective, and most importantly, working for you. You also want to think about upskilling your employees, because that's another crucial aspect. You should ensure that your staff are proficient in using your existing platforms as well. Additionally, you want to foster a culture of collaboration and innovation. You should encourage your teams to think creatively and challenge the status quo, moving away from the mindset of this is how it's always been done. This is where a comprehensive evaluation will help you identify areas for improvement and help drive your organization forward. And we're going to dive a little bit into this on the next few slides. So here are 5 signs your nonprofit needs to evaluate its tech landscape, right? So these are several signs that indicate you need to dive deeper into your current systems. First, extensive use of Excel for critical operations. This can be a red flag. If you're relying heavily on spreadsheets, it might be time to look for more robust integrated solutions. Second, if you're using internally hosted software, that can present challenges, especially in terms of security and scalability. And third, vendor management. If you have lost invoices and delayed payments, this can strain your relationships with your vendors and cause errors in your processes, right? And fourth, a prolonged close process. If your close process takes several weeks, this could indicate that there are inefficiencies in the process that need to be addressed. And last, a lack of automated internal controls can increase the risk of errors and ultimately non-compliance. So we're going to dive into these a little bit, but recognizing these signs, right, can help you identify areas where you need to improve your systems and processes. But first, let's go into kind of that first area. We're going to dive into if you have extensive use of Excel. So some of the warning signs here include allocations in Excel, or you're performing monthly close items in Excel. You're pulling reports out of the general ledger and manipulating them manually, or you're manually creating custom reports. These practices are all manual, all time consuming, and most importantly, are very prone to errors. Why is this a problem, right? I just said it. First, it increases the risk of mistakes and inefficiencies. And second, it makes it difficult to track whether your mission objectives are being met. And lastly, if it takes 2 weeks to compile your data, you can't make timely, informed decisions that ultimately could impact your mission. So by evaluating your tech landscape and going through a digital transformation, you can specify the data you need, create custom and automated reports, and ensure timely distribution of information, which will save you time, reduce your errors, and provide you with accurate and up-to-date insights. Next, let's talk about using internally hosted software, right? And this can present challenges. Some of the warning signs to look for here include having software hosted on an on-site server, and that usually requires IT staff to maintain and troubleshoot. So why is this a problem? First, there are significant security issues here. On-site servers are more vulnerable to breaches, and they lack robust auto recovery systems in case of ransomware attacks or even natural disasters. Second, internally hosted software is less scalable and accessible, making it difficult to support a growing organization or if you have to manage remote workers. And third, it limits your ability to integrate with other modern software solutions. So a digital transformation here can help you increase your data security, provide more flexibility for hybrid and remote work, and improve those internal efficiencies. But I think maybe the most important is the transition. It transitions the risk to vendors, right, who specialize in maintaining and securing these systems. And it kind of gets that risk outside of the organization. Now let's talk about vendor management problems, such as lost invoices and lack of communication, all of which can delay payments and ultimately damage your reputation. So some warning signs here. We've already mentioned our invoices getting lost and not recorded correctly. And a lack of communication between departments about the status of invoices can also be a warning sign. These issues can result in vendors not getting paid on time, which, as I just mentioned, can strain your relationships. And to reinforce this, right, really, harm your reputation of your organization. So a digital transformation here can increase your transparency, in the accounts payable process and improve your approval workflows, centralize invoice management, and will help ensure that invoices are tracked accurately and your vendors are paid promptly. Next, if you have a prolonged close process, which is taking 3 or 4 weeks, this can be a clear sign of an issue, right? An example would be if you have one close process finish and the next one starts almost immediately, leaving you little time for other important tasks. It's probably time to evaluate your system and processes. Usually, manual processes and lack of communication during the close will also further, kind of exacerbate this problem. So a digital transformation here can help you increase transparency in the close process, automate some of those workflows, and I think importantly, move staff into higher level work. This will not only improve your efficiency, but also increase job satisfaction by reducing the burden of repetitive tasks and allowing your staff to focus on more strategic activities that will help push that mission forward. And last here, we have a lack of automated internal controls. So some warning signs here include staff being unaware of internal control processes or just bypassing them due to lack of, automation or security, which significantly increases the potential for errors and non-compliance. So when looking at a digital transformation, implementing a new system can help, implement new automated workflows that align with your own internal control best practices and helps ensure that processes are followed consistently and reduces the risk of errors. Additionally, standardized and organized documentation helps maintain compliance and provides a clear audit trail. Trust me, your auditors will thank you for that. So to wrap all of this up, as you evaluate your tech landscape, it's important to note that Spark Rock and Microsoft here, obviously offer solutions to many of the challenges we've discussed. These platforms provide integrated systems and automated workflows that can help streamline your processes and improve overall efficiency. I will hold this for questions at the end, but I will now hand it over to our next speaker. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Seth, for walking us through the signs showing that it's time for a digital transformation. Now to tell you about how Microsoft technology positively impacts nonprofit and could help them realize that digital transformation, I'm going to hand it over to Henrik.
All right, thank you very much. Let me know if is the screen showing okay for you guys?
Yep, we can see it.
All right, great. So thank you very much. Short introduction to myself, Henrik. I am in the Microsoft Tech for Social Impact team. Essentially, we are a team supporting nonprofits worldwide with Microsoft technology. We are a separate unit within Microsoft, and all we are doing is focusing on the industry. So when we look at how we are doing business, we estimate that there is around 10 million nonprofits worldwide. We are currently serving around 375,000 nonprofits with our cloud technologies. How we are supporting nonprofits is really by granting free software to nonprofits, but also giving significant discounts to the nonprofit sector. So if we dive a little more into what we see in the current landscape of nonprofits, as mentioned, roughly 10 million nonprofit organizations globally. What we see when we are talking to these accounts or these customers is that there is an appetite for investing in modernizing their IT landscape. We see a lot of the customers are currently running on legacy systems that are not really supporting their modern processes of today. So back to the point Seth mentioned previously, is that there are really a lot of opportunities for nonprofits to optimize how to run their operations. Some of the things that and challenges that we see across the landscape is also to Seth's point, there is a cyber threat out there, and when we are doing analysis on cyber threats globally, we see that the nonprofit sector is the third most targeted industry. And one of the reasons for that is likely that there is it is an industry with a lot of legacy systems that are easily targeted by cyber criminals. What we also see is that due to this legacy infrastructure of systems, that a lot of nonprofits are having disconnected systems, siloed data, and that obviously leads to inefficiencies of the operations. So with all of these challenges that the nonprofits are facing, we also see on the positive side there is an belief that technology can actually help solving a lot of these challenges in the industry. As mentioned, one of the ways that Microsoft is supporting nonprofits is by giving away grants. So we have grants on Microsoft 365 Business Premiums, the Office 365, as many of you are probably using already. We have grants on Azure. So if you are having data in the cloud, that we have a grant for you to leverage there. And also for business applications, we have grants for a product called Power Apps, where you can build your own custom apps. And also of the content of today around Business Central, which is our ERP solution for small and medium-sized organizations. There is a significant discount versus the commercial pricing. So across the portfolio of Microsoft products, there are either free grants or there are significant discounts for you to leverage. So I'll encourage all of you, if you do not leverage these grants today, go on the Microsoft.com/nonprofit website and apply for eligibility for these grants already today. In alignment with the previous session, we do see that there is a big opportunity for nonprofits to automate a lot of these internal repetitive tasks. Seth mentioned the closing. If that takes too long, there are probably tasks within that process that you can automate. Another thing is that when running a legacy system, it's often hard to innovate your business model. So a lot of ERP solutions that were designed 10, 15, 20 years ago do not necessarily support where donors or how you manage your mission today, which means that you are probably limited in the way that you can innovate your organization due to the fact that you have a legacy or customers have a legacy system. And that really also means that we are not really driving that innovation that we are looking for out there. So when you look at the different roles within an organization, there are obviously different areas to focus on here. For the finance or the operation managers, it's about optimizing processes. It's about saving time and ensuring that you get the right data at the right time to make the right decisions. IT often focuses on how can we actually make sure that we have a safe and secure environment, making sure that data is always available and the systems are always available. Executive directors obviously need the right insights and data to drive the right decisions. So with solutions like SparkWorks 365 and the Dynamics 365 Microsoft platform, you really get an opportunity to modernize how you are working with your solutions today. So when we talk about specifically Business Central, which is the topic of today, some of the areas where we see a lot of customers are choosing a platform like Dynamics 365 together with a partner solution like SparkRock 365 is really about improving that security and reliability. To Seth's points, if you do have your solution in-house, often customers will have challenges in protecting data well enough. Running a cloud solution like Business Central, Microsoft handles a lot of that security on your behalf embedded in the solution. Also about the scalability and the flexibility and how to adapt to new business processes is a big benefit of a cloud solution like Business Central. Maintenance is included in the solution, so get updates of the solution, not only security updates or patches, but also new functionality is coming into the solution, which will help you also to innovate in the future. And obviously, there's a big issue or a big challenge around compliance, ensuring that the data is compliant with local legislation, ensuring that you are reporting on the right data. That is also a part of the solution. So obviously, if you have a solution that kind of works on your behalf, a solution that is safe and compliant, and a solution that brings you up to date information at hand when needed, that is a big step forward for a lot of organizations running local or running legacy systems. And we do have a lot of customers on Business Central today. A couple of weeks ago, there was a big conference in Europe focusing on Business Central, and the GM of Business Central was on stage sharing that there's more than 40,000 customers running Business Central in the cloud today. Not all of them are nonprofits, but a fair and decent portion of those customers are nonprofits. What we often see when a customer is using Business Central is use Business Central as a platform, work with a partner, SparkRock 365. SparkRock has the insights, the knowledge, and the experience of working with nonprofits, and the best of breed with the security and the platform from Microsoft, in addition with the solution from SparkRock on top of that, really gives nonprofits an opportunity to optimize the business or optimize the mission outcome with a modern solution like this. I did bring a few customer reference stories here. One is World Wildlife Foundation in Italy, using Business Central together with an Italian partner, where the partner has built those customizations or kind of built supported in the specific business processes that World Wildlife Foundation have. You probably also have specific needs in your specific organizations, and SparkRock can support you in accommodating those going forward with a solution like Business Central. Another one is a Spanish customer who also use Business Central and work with a local Spanish partner on kind of adapting the Business Central solution specifically to the needs of Fuzzy here. So Business Central is a cloud solution that is kept up to date and innovated on by Microsoft, working closely with partners like SparkRock, who have built specific solutions supporting the nonprofit industry on top of that. So very happy to answer any questions if needed. Otherwise, I will hand it over to the next speaker.
All right, thank you, Henrik, for this overview of the amazing impact that Microsoft technology has on nonprofit. All right, so as you identify all the signs and plan to move away from your legacy system, you need to really think about what your ideal new solution should look like, right? When you select an ERP solution, this is a decision, a commitment that is going to stick with your organization for the next 5 to 10 years, right? This is why it is essential to select a partner you trust to grow and scale with your organization, an experienced partner that understands your specific needs and requirements. So it's very important to evaluate who your partner is and what they bring to the table. So some of you here are already familiar with SparkRock, but for those that are not, let me tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. You see, Henrik mentioned some of it, but I'll go in a little bit more details. So a little over 20 years ago, we identified a gap in the market when it comes to non-for-profit organization. Back then, it was an underserved market, to say the least, with very unsophisticated product. And this is how SparkRock was born back in 2003, from this desire to provide nonprofit with better solution. Get used to the slide here. Here you go. And in order to achieve this goal, from day one, we partnered with Microsoft and worked hand in hand with them as part of what is called the Microsoft Embedded Program. And when most people think about Microsoft, they do not think about ERP, but as most of you here already know, and as Henrik mentioned, Microsoft has been an important player in the market for over 30 years. And of course, over time, over the past decade, Microsoft solution evolved through technology, innovation, through new products and upgrades. And as they evolved and grew, well, so did we, right? So today we are built on top of that powerful Microsoft solution that Henrik talked about called Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. And as you can see from the picture on your screen here, all solution sits and live within the Microsoft Dynamics 365 environment. So you may wonder, what are we adding to the Microsoft ecosystem? What makes our solution unique? When we find, what we find with our experience is that when you work with nonprofit organization, is that Business Central, like any other solution that are made specifically for-profit organization, are missing key functionalities that nonprofit organization like yours really need. So Business Central as is, out of the box, is a great and robust solution for businesses, right? And businesses are focused on the revenue coming in the organization. They will be on top of their sales, on top of their margin, their inventory maybe. But when you think about nonprofit, you generally have fewer source of revenue, a bigger chunk of revenue as you receive grants, you receive donation. So nonprofit are actually focused on the expenses, right? The money going out of the organization. It is all about how you spend that money and making sure that every cent is properly accounted for, especially since you must report back to your funders. You have to think about requirements around requisition or invoice approval, or around project and grant accounting or fund accounting, or generating those specific reports, those complex regulatory reports that you have but that do not exist for-profit organization. And this is actually why the typical ERP solution do not work for nonprofit, right? And those that end up using those tools that were specifically designed for businesses end up wasting a lot of time and resources and having to implement a lot of manual processes, right? So what we did is that we took the level of sophistication that a solution like Business Central have on the revenue side, and we bring the same level of sophistication on the expense management side. Before we came along and founded SparkRock 20 years ago, nonprofit organization had pretty much the choice between, number one, the well-established solution designed specifically for businesses. And as we discussed, this is less than ideal, right? And number two, the niche ERP solution built for non-for-profit. But those niche solutions are not as robust and as well developed as a solution available for businesses because they lack the stability and security that large organizations can offer. So with SparkRock, what we do is that we bring together in one side all the security and stability of the Microsoft infrastructure, and on the other side, the sector-specific expertise of SparkRock with all the features and functionalities that are specific to the needs of the non-for-profit organizations, right? So really, we are the best of both worlds. What we bring to the table is that capacity to leverage the Microsoft investment in Business Central, which is significant, right? Not only because it's cloud and you can access it anywhere, anytime on any device, but also because you're benefiting from all the Microsoft investment. And as Henrik mentioned earlier, privacy and security are just one aspect of it, right? Microsoft makes ongoing investment in the features, the functionality, but also in the mobility support, the interoperability within the entire Microsoft ecosystem itself. One of the great examples of this is, and you will see when Wendy gets into the demo in a minute, is your ability to integrate with the entire Microsoft Office 365 suite, the Excel, the Outlook, the Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Copilot now, right? And so on and so forth. And I believe it is pretty safe to say that for most of us here in this webinar, Microsoft plays a big part in your everyday work experience. And that is the type of digital transformation that you want, the one that impacts and enhances your everyday work experience. So not only we leverage all the Microsoft resources and all the Microsoft investment, but then on top of that, we're offering the vertical specific functionalities that were developed through 20 years of investment experience and expertise in the non-for-profit space. So right, so now that you have a good understanding, or I hope, of who we are and what we do, I'm going to hand it over to Wendy, our product specialist, to go over a brief demo in the little amount of time that we have left to give you a sneak peek of our capabilities and how technology could serve you today.
Noon.
So Wendy, I believe you are on mute because I cannot hear you.
Oh, 1 second.
Here we go.
Can
Now
you
I
hear
can
me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, thank you. So as I was saying, I'm a pre-sales consultant with SparkRock. I've been helping organizations like yours since 1997 move from paper-based business processes to digital experiences. And so for the demo today, we are going to first get introduced to what we call the Role Center. And Role Centers offer actionable dashboards based upon your user role. And also what we're going to see when we come into the live demo is we're going to look at the integration with the Office productivity suite. So Excel, Teams, Outlook, and as well as OneDrive and Power BI. Everything that you are going to see today is mobile responsive, accessible on any device. You also can download an app and use it through the app as well. After that, we are going to get a sneak peek of the Copilot app that is now in preview. Copilot now embedded within Business Central and will be available in SparkRock 365 in 2025. It really moves beyond just chat and generative AI. You'll see that it's pervasive throughout the platform, and the tools are really going to help you increase productivity across all your users. So let me just share my screen. All right, and Bree, can you just confirm that you're able to see my my screen share?
We see it.
All right, great. Okay, so as I mentioned, the first thing we want to talk about is the role centers. Right now, I'm in the system as an accounting manager role. There's over 20 roles to choose from. So depending on your organization, you may use all of them, or maybe just some of them. And for each one of those user roles, the dashboard that is presented is going to be based upon their job functions. You're also going to see that the actionable dashboard is color-coded, bringing your attention to things that are more urgent than others. And each one of the users are able to save shortcuts to either vendors that maybe they are managing a contract with, or even GL accounts that they might want to monitor the balance on. As we continue down the dashboard, you're also going to see that each user has the ability to have insights on their dashboard with different types of reports that are available. So for example, maybe I'm looking for my aged accounts receivables. And if I wanted to drill down right to those transactions specifically, I would just be able to click through and go directly to those sales invoices that are past due. Continuing down, the report inbox is how you can deliver scheduled reports. So maybe you've got a report that runs every month, for example. It would be deposited here into your report inbox, and then you would just click on it to open the report. The integration with Power BI, so each user can have a different Power BI report template available to them. And with the Power BI, it is real-time connection to your database. You are able to refresh it on demand, as well as navigate through these reports again, when it comes to the Power BI, you can build them yourselves, or we have a resource on staff that can help you with that as well. So a great tool for getting visual representations of data and insights for your team. So continuing on, I'm just going to move back up to the top of our page. And so here we can see our menus like you would see in standard Microsoft products, and as well as the ability to create favorites or pin menus to your interface where you can access them very quickly. I'm going to come into one of our pages here. So this is our vendors page. And what I'm going to show you is the tools that are really pervasive across all of the pages. So first of all, you're going to see that when it comes to your searching and your filtering, you can build very robust multi-level searches, and as well as save those so that they are always accessible to you here, and you would just click on the saved query to get those results. What else you're going to see here is the integration with Excel. So you could either open this data in Excel, you can edit in Excel, share it to Teams, or just copy a link. So editing in Excel is certainly a feature that our customers particularly appreciate, allows them to work in their favorite tool, but also, let me just drag this over so you can see what I'm doing, but also they can make changes in here that integrate back into the SparkRock system. So for example, it's connecting, here's the data that we have from our search results, and it's bringing all the content here, as we can see, in a table format. Now, anything that we might want to change, we can do so. So for example, I'm just going to look for my purchasing code, purchasing persons here. Where are they? Here we go. So for example, maybe you have a new purchasing, somebody's left your organization, and you want to change the purchasing codes for selected vendors. So you can do that right in the Excel document, and through the Publish tool, you can push those changes right back into your SparkRock 365. And so we can see here that our Publish is successful. And we come back here into SparkRock 365. If we look at any one of these vendors, you're going to see the changes are all tracked. You can also have it go through an approval process. So looking at the number of changes, as Seth mentioned earlier, this is really an auditor's dream. And so if we look at the changes that have taken place, here is today, we've got the old value was JR, and here is our new value of JRF. So giving you that transparency and insights into any changes that are happening to your data. Before we move from this vendor record, I do want to talk about your attachments. So every business process throughout the application will support the uploading and attaching of documents. You also can integrate those with your OneDrive and share them out, as of course, as well. And let me just get logged on to that. Sorry. One second. I used the wrong login. Okay, so now that that document is also accessible in my OneDrive. Now, further from that, as we look at the extension of the Office Productivity Suite, here we can see we have Outlook. So all of your emails that are being sent out of the application to vendors and so on will also show up in your sent items in Outlook. You're also going to see a tight integration here with SparkRock. Through the email application, you're able to see insights on your contacts, as well as kick off business processes, like maybe attaching a document from an email to the vendor, for example. Here we can see we have our attachments. If I wanted to add any additional attachments, I can do that. You'll also see that you can drill down to the specific invoices. So maybe this vendor was contacting you about an overdue payment. You can drill right down to those ledgers and those, in this case, that posted purchase invoice that is overdue. As we look at other functions here, you'll be able to not only view the insights on the contact, but you also could, as I said, kick off different business processes like creating a purchase order or a purchase invoice. So where I'd like to go from here is show you the preview of Copilot, which will now be embedded in SparkRock 365 as part of our roadmap in 2025. And so what you'll see is, number one, is the Copilot chat is accessible right from the dashboard and will bring it into your right-hand view. And the chat is meant to not only find information, so this is going to find information against your business data, but it also can explain business processes or guide you in regards to how to do something. So let's ask it a couple questions here. First of all, I'm going to say how many posted purchase invoices this year. So it's able to do simple mathematical calculations for me, as well as take me directly to the results. You're going to notice when it brings back the results, you're going to have the references of how it found that information. So we can see there's 55 posted purchase invoices. It says, here's a few, and I can click through directly to the page where we can see that it has these 55 posted purchase invoices. It's already built the advanced filter for me, so that's handy. And now where I want to take you is to what is now embedded in every page is the Copilot Analyze tool. So using the Analyze tool, you're able to create reports using plain language. There's multiple prompts that you can choose from to build that. So you can use natural language to add structure to your reports, sort and filter, as well as adjust the layout. So for example, here I'm asking it to generate a report that shows the remaining amount by vendor, pivot the data by the month of the due date. I want to exclude, of course, any purchase invoices that are closed. And I also want to rename my tab to webinar. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on generate, and that will bring back the report that I've asked for. So we can see here, it's renamed my tab to webinar. I have the months that that invoices are due and how much is due by vendor. But I also, if maybe I want more information, so I'm going to say drill down by invoice, for example. So I can continue to massage the report either using the AI tool or the built-in tools on your right hand where I can make selections manually as well. So when you have the report just the way you want it, so here we can see it's drilling down by the invoice, I can choose to keep it. And so when I do that, now every time I come back into my posted purchase invoices page and go to the Analyze tool, that view is accessible for me. So let's look at a couple of other neat features that you're going to find where the Copilot AI is going to help you with your productivity. The next is the items. So items can be used during your AR process as well as through your accounts payable process. And so this allows you to create descriptions of the items using all of the attributes that you already have on the item. So we've got within the fields available here, we have define this item, but this now is going to give us a nice marketing message that is puts everything together in a nice view. You're able to change the tone that it's generating in, as well as the emphasis, and regenerate these messages. And once you have it the way you would like it, you can just keep it. So that's what they call the marketing text. Now, when it comes to helping with repetitive tasks, you're going to see in the sales invoices, so your AR invoices, when creating a new invoice, it can help you along the way. And so what I mean by that, for example, I'm just going to choose a customer here. And it's asking me to suggest sales lines. And so I'm going to say, okay, I'm looking for 10 desks and 10 chairs, for example. And so it's going to look at that item list and find me any matches that it could suggest. And so, and we'll just give it a moment here to come back for us. And so here we can see we have, it suggested the Athens desk and the London swivel chair. And if I click on insert, it's going to add those items into the sales invoice, all of the detail, including the price and so on. And so now this is ready to post or send to the customer. Now let's look at a couple of other things that are going to come along with Copilot in the first wave here. Bank reconciliations, you're going to see that Copilot is front and center. You're able to make a selection here and import data directly from here. I've already prepared some, so I'm just going to come into my checking. And here you're going to see we now have the reconcile with Copilot. So helping you with this process where there's a manual match, and then there's also the Copilot match. And in this case, it helped me match up to 67%. And if I want to keep it, I can keep it or I can discard it. In addition to the bank reconciliation help, there is also new e-document matching capability. So if you are using OCR technology, for example, maybe you're bringing your invoices in, it's going to help you to match and find purchase orders that match that invoice. And so here we can see, for example, our regular matching found 0%, and whereas Copilot here has matched 100%. And what we'll see here, we've got the e-document. So that was the invoice that came from the vendor. And on the right, it's saying what it's proposing to match on. And when we look at that, we'll be able to see why it matched. So the e-document, so the invoice from the vendor said Colombian roasted coffee, whereas the purchase order in the system has a line item that says whole roasted beans Colombia. And so the AI was able to help you make that match, even though they weren't recorded identically between the vendor's invoice and the system's purchase order. So those are a few of the things that Copilot AI is going to help with. The chat and the tools that are embedded in all of the pages, as we saw, the analyze tools, the reconciliation tools, as well as the marketing and item tools. So with that, I'm just going to stop my share and come back to our PowerPoint. One moment, please. All right. So now we will open it up for Q&A, and I'll pass it back to Bree. Thank you.
That was awesome. I love seeing what AI can do. It's kind of amazing and sometimes scary, but I think this one's good. We do have one question that is in the chat. I'm going to ask Gary to help me answer this one. Our organization is embedded into Gmail and Google services. How will that affect our usage and the integration with SparkRock?
Right, very good. That's a great questions. So if you're not using Microsoft and you're using Google, well, no problem. We don't discriminate. You can still use our solution. That will still be able to work for you. We do have actually a lot of customers that are not necessarily Microsoft Shop customers, but they still can use our solution, so that will work as well.
I know another question I'm going to ask you guys, because I get this a lot. Can you tell us a bit about our mobile options with My SparkRock? Because I hear that we can take pictures of receipts and upload, and I want to know a little bit more about that. Maybe Wendy, can you help me with that one?
Yes, absolutely. So the functionality you're referring to is the expense management, as well as the attachments that we saw earlier. So depending on what device you're on, if you're on a mobile device, for example, and you go to add an attachment, you can take a photo right with your camera at that time, or you can select a file from your files on your phone or your device. So there's the ability to use the app or just the web browser.
We have another question. Is there a workflow with invoice approval in the system?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
I see people are typing. They're a little faster than I am. And you're more than welcome to also ask questions to Seth if you have any questions about Microsoft. We can try and answer any and all questions. We have about 3 left. 3 minutes. Just while people are typing, I will say if you have any questions that come after this webinar, if you're like me, you sit on it and then you have 100 that pop up in your head, you can always reach us at connect@sparkrock.com, or you can visit our website, submit a contact form, or request to book a demo to learn even more. We have a few questions that have snuck in. We'll tackle this first one. We're a volunteer program. Can SparkRock create schedules, onboard, and deny blocked volunteers?
So we do have scheduling within the HR side of things. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to schedule your volunteers as well, but in order for them to access the system, they would likely need a Microsoft Azure login. But that's certainly something we can talk through with you if you wanted to reach out. I'm sure Gary could schedule some time and we could work through those questions with you.
Then our next question is, I'm concerned that Dynamics 365 is a bigger program than what our association needs. Does SparkRock scale the program to our needs or just give us everything? And they are currently using Dynamics GP.
All right, that's a great question. Actually, though, the range of our customer varies from very small nonprofit organization to much larger organization. The beauty with SparkRock is that it's a solution that really can scale with your organization. So, and as you are a Microsoft GP user, actually SparkRock is the recommended solution to upgrade from Dynamic GP for any nonprofit. So the best way to go about reviewing where you at, what are your needs, what are your requirements, is really to contact us at connect@sparkrock.com, and me or anybody from my team will be happy to sit with you to go in more detail and assess what your requirements are and go from there. But generally speaking, SparkRock is a great solution to go, even if you're like small non-for-profit, to scale your business to much larger organization.
Gary and our team would love to set up time to chat, whether you want to talk about finance, HR, payroll, Power BI reporting, which is my favorite because I love numbers. But there's so many different options here. that we can either set up a time to chat or set up a demo to go more in depth, because we only had an hour and there's so many things we can do in the system that it's a little hard to squish all that in. So I see one more question sneaking in. We'll take a look at that one. Then we'll be all done for the day. How's it been an hour? It's so fast.
So there was a question there just for the benefit of everyone on the call, a question about if we also have a payroll solution. And yes, the answer to that is yes, we do.
Awesome.
Yeah, just want to add on that SparkRock does offer a fully integrated solution for HR, payroll, scheduling. So if you have questions, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to help. Also, you have questions for Seth for Forvis Mazda, please send them over. We will be able to share with him and be happy to share the answer with you.
Thank you everyone for joining. I'm going to thank our special guests, Seth and Henrik. It was amazing. I love connecting with them. And thank you to Wendy and Gary for not only leading this, but showing us an amazing AI demo. Feel free to reach out to us, connect@sparkrock.com, and hopefully we'll see you at the next webinar. Everyone, have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye now.